Hi, this is Joy Robertson. As many of you know, I love food. I love finding new restaurants. I love trying new dishes. And most of all, I love talking to the many great restaurateurs and entrepreneurs we have here in the Ozarks and beyond. I love hearing their stories, and that's what this podcast is all about, learning more about them and their journey. So join me as we savor the Ozarks. This episode is brought to you by Arctic Food Equipment. I'm sitting in a place that is a farmer's market, food truck park, food court, event space, all of the above. It's Metro Eats on West Sunshine in Springfield. The woman who started it all, Christina Shellhart, sitting right across from me. And I want you to get our audience up to speed on how this started. How did we get here, Christina?
So we put the plans in for the city in 2019, and it was going to be just a couple of warehouses, and I decided to take that over and have a commissary kitchen and food truck plugs and events on Saturdays and Sundays, and then we have cargo containers that we converted as well. Whatever I could think of, I threw out here.
Why this location?
This location I actually scouted out in 2016. I just saw that there was heavy traffic over here, and everyone talked about West Sunshine was going to be booming. They've said that for years, and I really did believe that it was finally going to happen. Plus, there was a food truck park spot downtown, and I thought he had issues with parking, so we really tried to find something that was easier to get into and have more parking space if we needed it, because this is actually over a 10-acre piece, so we had room to grow.
Well, and you mentioned when I first met you, when you first popped up on my radar with Metro Eats, you mentioned Republic because of so much growth that direction.
Yes, all to the west. Republic has grown an insane amount. Target's coming here on West Sunshine as well. They're going to be our neighbors. And they're actually doing a whole center across from Target now that I've heard is all rented. There's also a little bit of a food desert here. There's lots of construction that goes on over here. There are quite a few houses and apartments down this way. And until Target's coming in with Olive Garden and everything, there's a little bit of a food desert, kind of industrial. And again, the prison's across the way, so I thought that there was room for food.
Well, and you're all about local. All these folks here that prep all this food and do all this amazing stuff, it's local. And you have several local trucks and providers here.
It is local. I actually have 18 businesses out here. We have 15 food trucks. 2 of them are still coming. And we have a cargo container that's coffee, and it's actually drive-through. And we are going to have a boba tea cargo container as well that's going to be curbside. So that's a little bit different. I don't know that anybody else in town has that. So we're really excited about that. So you have more choices than the mall here. So a lot of people gathered for food. We also have a full bar.
The Warehouse Bar. A lot of people, I'm no doubt, have heard of the way. It's an amazing bar, live music. All right, I want to get into more of the details about some of the purveyors that are here and the farmers market. But first of all, let's back up and tell me about you. What is your background?
I started in a restaurant whenever I was 14 years old. It was the first job that I got a paycheck at that wasn't with my grandparents or my parents in my little hometown of Cole Camp, Missouri. And my brother actually ended up buying that restaurant in 2000 as well. He owned it for 20 years. And I just got into food, and I've never really stopped. Always wanted to do my own thing. I've had a couple restaurants, and I really wanted to do something more open and kind of spearhead more local businesses. I really, really wanted a bunch of diversity in one spot, especially for food.
What kind of restaurants did you own and operate?
I had a little cafe in Chesterfield Village for a while, and I had a cafe in Smithton, Missouri. Kind of breakfast all day, trying to do local meats and eggs with different flavors. I really spin into honey and seasonings that I create myself, and sauces. So I kind of use carrier vehicles, whether it be ice cream or eggs, that I can add different sauces and spices to and kind of take you somewhere else global. It's always been my thing.
Okay, so you do have a background in restaurants and food and cuisine, but you're not cooking anything out here. You're organizing all of this, correct?
Yes. In the beginning, I had a little place here, and then I actually gave that spot up. So I do farmers markets in several other cities, and I have beehives on the property, so I have a thriving honey business.
I've been back to the beehives. It's been a while since you took me back there, but it's impressive what happens back there. And I remember you talking about this when I first met you, and you said you kind of got the idea, started scouting this out around 2019. Of course, then COVID happened. That made things interesting, I'm sure. But I remember you telling me when it was really first getting started that you had this vision to have this, that, and the other all out on this big space on West Sunshine. And I was like, well, go get them, Christina, but I don't know that I can see the same vision you're envisioning. I mean, you had it written out. You had it drawn out. You had the plans drawn out. And lo and behold, you did it.
I did a couple phases of it. We're kind of bumping into phase 2. We've got the food trucks out here. We still are working on a farmer's market. My experience with the farmer's market, what's super important is produce. And we struggled with produce the first couple years we tried. So we are looking for that again. You have got to have produce if you have a farmer's market. We've got lots of vendors with artisan stuff, even me with my honey, but you've got to have produce. So I think we actually potentially have that figured out for next year because we have the space to do it. So
okay, so not really an organized farmers market this year.
Not yet.
Okay, I wasn't sure on that because at one time I know you did.
Yes, we started that one in April, and we did really well in April because people, for the most part around here, aren't expecting the produce. But when the blueberry season and things like that hit, then they wanted it. And there's only certain people around here, and most of them were in markets or traveling, or they set up their own homesteads, like Gardener's Orchard. You know, they have their own spot out in Brighton, so it's really, really difficult to host, in my opinion, a farmer's market, like I said, unless you have produce. It's so important. It just upsets people. That's what it's known for. So I think we have some of those answered for next year, but it's taken a long time to find.
When you're driving west on Sunshine, west of Kansas Expressway and all of that, and you're driving along, look for the U.S. Automotive sign. That's my marker. And I think it could be that people who don't realize you're here might drive right past it and go, wait a minute, where is this place? Is there any challenge of getting people to realize exactly where you are?
We battled signage from the very beginning. You can only have a big sign per piece of property for every 500 feet. So we had the one sign, and I was actually the third tenant to come in. So those spots were already taken. So we really have battled with signage. We even had a billboard for almost a year, and that didn't even seem to draw the attention that we wanted to. They actually took that billboard down. So we are working on that. But signage has been an issue. So that is a good beacon, is the U.S. Automotive. We're right next to that.
When you look down here, you see this one long building and a second long building. And the westernmost building, the whole thing is Metro Eats. All around the exterior of the parking lot, the shipping containers, and inside. And by the way, Christina and I are sitting under a wonderful pavilion that is on the north side of the building, which, especially this time of year, we're recording this in July, is a much needed little bit of shade. It's quite nice out here.
Oh, it's great. I actually converted this just a couple months ago. We had trucks come under here. I kind of went through my seniority list and asked them if anybody wanted to come under here. They were a little bit leery of it. One of them had been here and built a clientele, so she was a little bit leery about not being able to be seen from the street. But this is wonderful back here, and it's just getting the word out that when you pull in, if you come down the middle or if you come in all the way to the west, just to come all the way to the north to where the building ends. You'll see a big tree line, and there is a big pavilion, and we have 3 trucks underneath it. So,
which I wasn't even really thinking about the trucks being underneath it. I was thinking about all of these tables and chairs being underneath it, because all of the other places you can grab food, you can come find a nice shady spot to sit with a little bit of breeze back here.
Yeah, we have full sun seating if you like. Most of the food trucks have their own picnic tables. We also have this pavilion, which is open seating for everybody, and the warehouse bar is open 7 days a week. They opened at 11 a.m. specifically to help out for everyone here. They are here in the morning, so if you want to come in and have lunch and climate control, you can. For the summertime, obviously for the winter as well, most of the trucks out here have pagers. So if you come and you get a pager and you sit and you get yourself a drink, and then they page you and you go grab your food, you can eat in the air conditioning if you like.
That would be helpful. That is something I hadn't really thought of, but that just makes it more fun, because everybody can come and get the kind of food that they want. And like right over your shoulder, I'm seeing the Tie Me Up food fusion. I'm seeing pad thai, orange chicken, all sorts of delicious dishes. And then you mentioned how many nationalities of food. What's the most unique thing? I mean, that's a tough one, though. I don't want to put you on the spot, but what are some of the unique things that are here at Metro Eats?
We have a Taiwanese snow. We're looking at sweetened snow right there. Right next to that, the orange trailer is Nathalie's African. She's from the Congo. Then we have El Salvador. Then we have Whatever You Want, which they're a fusion between Chinese, hibachi, and Mexican. Then we have a Caracas House, which is Venezuelan. Then we have the Alternative Foods. They're sweet and sour, and they do smash burgers and fair foods. We have a Mexican truck. They've been out here for about a month. And then we have a Wandering Wheel coming. They're European, makes his own bread, his own meats. We have an organic 417 Simply Better. She does all her syrups, her coffees, focusing on organic. She has breakfast. We have the Tie Me Up, as you mentioned. And then we have coffee and kombucha. And we have a succulent shop, a little plant shop open on the weekends. And we have Japanese-themed milk tea, or the bubble tea. They are actually doing a tasting tonight, getting ready to get going. And then inside we have barbecue. Can't forget that for the American cuisine. And we also have a dessert specialist getting ready to open up. She's called Junk in a Jar by Ella's Soul Food Kitchen presenting. She's working on her health inspection right now. And then we have the warehouse.
My goodness. So it's a little bit like being in every part of the world right under this, on this one spot on West Sunshine. This is remarkable. You say food from Africa and the Congo. What kind of food do they have over there? What can you get?
She does an amazing soup. She actually has a lot of meats that is goat-centered, which is actually really, really good. I've never liked that before, but boy, does she have a way with that. And her personality more than anything, her smile. Always the biggest smile, Nathalie. She's wonderful. She's been here for over 2 years.
Unreal when you look around, when you see all the things that are here. Now, the warehouse bar you mentioned opens what time?
They open at 11 a.m. Every day, Monday through Sunday. They are generally here till 10 p.m. every night, and depending on what kind of crowd they have, they can be here till bar close.
You've got a nice space in there for an event space. But there's a bigger stage in there. And so the warehouse bar can have live music in the area where the bar is, but a bigger stage just on the other side of the door. How often do you do live music here?
They have live music just about every night. They have a jazz night on Mondays with Arthur Duncan Trio. They have an open mic night on Tuesdays. Sometimes they have jazz on Wednesdays. They have a blues society on some Thursdays. Yeah, they do like smaller bands right in the warehouse. Then they have the building next to them, and they can do a bigger band.
When is your really busy time at Metro Eats?
Saturdays are really good, and Friday evenings. A lot of the trucks, they are a family, and this is their business, and it's their passion, so they have days off. A lot of our trucks are closed on a Sunday or Monday, Tuesday, but Thursdays are really active out here for getting, your most choice for foods.
What other events do you typically have here? I've been here I was a judge for a Taco de Somo once, and I remember it was crazy crowded out here. So much fun. And we were all the judging happened right where we're sitting. All the chefs were set up and they were all cooking, and then the judges' table was right over there, and they would bring us the food to judge. But what are some of the events you have out here year round?
We are having some vintage events, which is normally underneath here under the pavilion. You find all kinds of unusual vendors for that. It's really, really fun. We're looking at doing a swap meet. We just talked about that this afternoon, about having a swap meet out here potentially. And then we really focus on, with a lot of the trucks, a cultural day. If there's an Independence Day, whether it be Venezuela or any of those kind of things, we're really focusing on that for events. We had one of our biggest events out here was a Jamaican Independence Day. So it just depends. We try to get the vendors involved and get them to focus and kind of have their day in the spotlight, if you will.
So what is some of your favorite food? Like, do you eat here pretty much every day, because you are here most every day? Do you just kind of bop around from one to the other, or do you have, not to put you on the spot, but like, do you find yourself going and seeing the new things that the people have?
Yes, and I mix and match. So I've basically tried something from everyone, and it's impossible to be on any type of diet out here. I've tried, especially in the summertime, as I was looking towards that to lose a little weight, and then new trucks come in, and it's just not possible. All of the trucks are absolutely fantastic. Like I said, they are owner-operated. Mm-hmm. They're all very passionate. A lot of them, then their extra staff is their family. And especially this time of the year, those trucks can get up to 120 degrees. So they are in there because it's their passion and they want to share their love of their culture with the world. Starting right here in Springfield.
Right. I'm sure it surprises you sometimes to see some of the food that they put out the window of these trucks. I mean, world cuisine that you really would not find anywhere near here.
It does. We go all over the globe, and then coming right back to our barbecue place for Stew Squatch that's one of my favorites is pork belly and fries. He's got amazing sauces. He does his own sauce, like everything from scratch.
Step into Arctic Food Equipment, where the spirit of American hospitality meets unmatched quality. Our Springfield showroom is open to the public and stocked with everything you need to outfit your kitchen. For over 25 years, we've been proud to serve our community with products built to last and a commitment rooted in American values. Come visit our showroom today and discover why kitchens across America trust Arctic Food Equipment. The tools you trust, the partner you deserve.
Stew Squatch being the barbecue place that's inside. And it's as much fun to read their menu as it is to eat the food. They're very creative there, very, very creative. Is this a place for families, for kids?
Yes, we're family friendly and pet friendly. We are looking at hoping to open a dog run space. We are working on that. That's what we hope for, but
okay.
Absolutely.
What are the other plans for Metro Eats? Because I know, like you said, it's a big piece of property and it goes way back. Are there other things that you envision that we might be seeing out here eventually?
Yeah, we still want to do something really big for the fall as well. We are hoping to potentially pull off a haunted forest in the back because it's all treed back there and we've already got some pathways down. Potentially even looking at a beer garden before that in September into October. I would even love to see like a cedar tree grove back there if we're going into all the holidays. I don't think anybody in town really has anything centered for like a haunted forest, so we're looking at all that. We've actually cleared it off a couple weeks ago and got some paths down and looking at doing all that soon. And then we're kind of trying to figure out where to put the dog run. We'd like to do a small one and a large one and be a really good space for that.
That would be a lot of fun. What are some of the challenges in opening a place like this? You mentioned that there's someone coming in that gets a health inspection. I guess it's up to each individual truck or purveyor inside to get their own work done. But I remember when you were putting this together, from the signage to getting shipping containers in here, what were the challenges in making this happen?
A lot of the biggest challenges are as myself as an entrepreneur and wanting to support local, wanting to see 20 different choices, but not wanting to do it all myself, have other people know what they were doing out here doing it is the hours. A lot of the food truck places kind of lock you down and say when you have to be there and when you can come and go, and that's actually caused a lot of them to close, and it's been very hindersome. So a lot of people are looking at Metro Eats and they'll ask me what someone's hours are, and I'm like, I have 18 different businesses out here. They might be on vacations. I do my best to post. We're actually trying to attack a lot of that and figure out a better line for that, so you can actually click on each person because everybody has different hours. Some are open during the day, some are open late night, and they do big events as well. I didn't want to tell them they have to be out here 24/7. A lot of them do big events or help in hosting, especially nonprofit things. So
well, and that would, I would think, tremendously help these families and these people who have these trucks, because to stipulate that you have to be here X number of hours, like you said, could be a real hindrance for them. And why not let them do what they do best when they can do it?
if you've stepped out on your own to be an entrepreneur, you generally do have a passion and something you're really good at, but you also have to have a really good business sense, which is your balance for your life and your time. So work for somebody else if I was going to tell you hours. That to me is still a corporation, so it was important that they all call their own hours.
Do you look, when you travel around the country, do you look at other places like this? Do you keep your eye on what's going on in the rest of the country?
I have. I always try to look at the food trends for bar and for food. LA has a food truck park that actually has 60 listed. A lot of the malls do 12 to 15, and we're riding right at 20. We're getting really close to that, so we're pretty high for the Midwest. Yeah.
Why do you think it is that we have all of these people from all over the world right here in the middle of the Ozarks that make the food that they do. I wonder what draws them to this area, but God bless them for wanting to share their culture with us.
Absolutely. The Midwest is absolutely beautiful, as you know. I think a lot of people, as they move here, it's a lower cost of living. There is still so much to do, and a big part of it is the Four Seasons. I've talked with people that come from, like, out of Hawaii, and you'd think, who would ever leave there? But they're like, the weather is always the same. So they really love the change of seasons here, which is beautiful.
It is, and I'm sure that that's part of what draws people here. But when you really look around at the talents and the cuisine that they offer, it's pretty stunning to have this right here in our own backyard. And you had the good sense to help put it together, which I just love that.
I had no idea with some of the things like African and different things being out there. Even the Taiwanese snow, I didn't know what it was. So, yeah, I've learned a lot.
Are you a world traveler?
I have traveled quite a bit, especially to Europe and to Africa, but haven't been all over the world. But food's my thing. I love it. I think it's a universal language. It's something people share, and you're sitting at tables, and it's happy time. For most people, right?
For most people, yes. And I think the sharing is the magic of it, you know, especially when you feel like you're having something that they specialize in that only they can make. It's almost like being invited into someone's home. When you approach a food truck and you don't know what I wonder what they've got back there. What do you have that I've never gotten at my typical restaurant out? I think some of these people hand things out the window that make it feel a little bit more like home cooking.
That is. That's a great analogy. I would agree. You actually are stepping into their home and their kitchen and or their culture. Lots of times people have touted being able to go somewhere that there's something for everyone, and there just about is out here. You even can find vegan options. So nowadays with families wanting so many different options, if they're going to go out, you can have a lot of stuff delivered. But even like from here, almost all of these are on Uber. Be able to come out here and have 5 to 10 people in your family, or even 2 of you, you might be able to visit 7 different places in the world, which is pretty amazing for the middle of the Ozarks.
For the middle of the Ozarks, exactly. You and I were texting earlier today, and you sent me this list, and we may have kind of sort of gone over this before, but my goodness, the Sioux Squatch Rockstar Barbecue, Ellis Soul Kitchen, Junk in a Jar, the desserts mostly, you said?
Yes,
okay.
She's starting off with dessert. They're amazing.
That sounds incredible. And in the cargo containers, Lovecraft Local Coffee, Grow for the Good, the plants, the succulents, what have you, Jade Dragon, the Japanese bubble tea car-side service. So you drive, let's see, this would be the northwest corner, and I see the coming soon sign. So people literally drive up, walk up, or do they text, or how do they do that? And then they bring it out to you?
They have tablets, and they have a lot of people hired, and they're a family business as well. So they're going to walk out and take your order, and then they're in there working, making the tea, and then they pass it back to those people bringing it back out to your car.
That's just wild. I love it. Sweet and Snow, Natalie's African, El Salvador, Pupusaria? Is that how you say that?
That is their national dish.
It's their national dish. Forgive me, everyone from El Salvador. Caracas House.
Whatever you want.
Whatever you want. Tell me about whatever you want.
So they do sushi, they do hibachi, they do Chinese, they do Mexican, a little bit of everything, and they infuse them. So they're kind of mixing them all together. Whatever you want.
Okay, so Mexican sushi. Bring it on.
They're kind of bringing it all together. They have like a Chinese, a burrito that they made. It's a monster. It's just very creative.
So literally, whatever you want. Taqueria Mexico, y'all-ternative. Y'all-ternative. Sweet and sour? Talk about that.
Yeah, so they make their own custom drinks. They're doing different lemonades and different dirty sodas. They do smash burgers. They do their own fries. And they do fair foods. So deep fried Oreos. A lot of fun.
Oh, good stuff. Okay, I do remember you mentioning the smash burgers. So it's the y'all-ternative. Mm-hmm. Love the name. Bento Box, Tied Up Grubs, 417 Simply Better, Wandering Wheel, Old World European, Pretzels, what have you. Beer Rocks. What's Beer Rocks?
It's got a special type of sourdough that he makes, almost a drop, super fluffy, and he's doing all his own meat, his own pretzels.
This is the one you said is getting a lot of buzz, right?
He is. The couple that I've shared with his menu on our Facebook has gotten a lot of buzz. not sure that there is anything Bavarian in town anymore. There used to be, so he's putting a little bit of German spin. And the fact that he makes his own breads and his own meats is very unique. And the prices are super reasonable.
Are they?
So he's been in the restaurant industry forever. He said quality and affordability were the biggest things to him for how he's always been and what his salary's been. He's very conscientious of that.
What nationality do you not have that you wish you had?
I don't technically have anybody that's specifically Korean right now. There's some Korean barbecues in town. Gosh, we have so much of it covered, though, other than that. I mean, there are, I think, 215 countries, so we could get really crazy, but we do have a big coverage on everything. We potentially could have Colombian. There's been some different Colombian trucks looking. Italian. Nobody specifically Italian right now. We have a few holes.
A few spaces to fill, sure, but how many more would you accommodate if you could?
We could do 2 more, is what we have space for. And I try to bounce off of everyone else's menu to make sure that they're not too competitive.
Yeah.
As best as I can.
Which is good of you to do that. You know what would be super in the fall and winter? How about a nice Swiss fondue?
That sounds incredible.
Does it not?
Well, we've got Old World European. I might have to ask him about that. He'd be the one that could focus on that. I think he does his own cheese dip, so why not a fondue with a handmade pretzel?
Wouldn't that be fantastic?
Good idea.
I'm just sitting here thinking of stuff at this point.
What do you need to do on the weekends?
Come on out.
Come on out.
Yeah, if you're listening and you're good at this, she's got a couple spots out here where you could come and... Now, you can park anywhere around here. Is that anywhere around the edge of the building? Look for the parking spaces. There's a ton of them.
Yeah, I believe we have 160 parking spaces right here on the property, and then we've cleared space in the back to do more if we need it for overflow.
What are some of the bigger events that you've hosted out here? What's really, really gotten the traffic going out here?
We had a multicultural event last year that was hosted out here, and it did absolutely fantastic. We are still looking at doing a lot of those things for next year. We had a trunk or treat one night, which also did really, really well. Couple of the vintage events did really, really well.
I love the vintage market idea, and I've seen a couple of those, and that's a lot of fun. If you like the fun vintage things, some of the used clothing that's so much fun that you just will never, I mean, if you see it, buy it, because you'll probably never see it again. It's kind of one of those treasure hunt kind of events.
Very unique. We also have our Grow for the Good, the gentlemen that run that. They have a high focus on art with cascading flourishes as well. So they actually do art classes in the bar. You purchase a ticket and they do art with you, and it comes with a cocktail, and then you let it dry, come out and pick it up. So we have, we can do so many things like that because we have that event space as well. So there's a big art focus out here too.
Who's
paint your own pot? If you get a succulent, and then they help you paint the pot.
Oh, that's cool. How many, in the event space that we saw in there, how many can you accommodate? What is it? What kind
75.
Okay, 75. So what events have you seen in there? Give me an example.
A bunch of retirement parties, graduation parties. Kind of the sky is the limit. We have all kinds of food to choose from, and then we've got a fantastic bar right next door to take care of all of your beverage needs. Really, sky is the absolute limit.
Are you out here every single day?
Pretty close. In and out. Not here all the time, but usually in and out here and there.
But I mean, 7 days a week for the warehouse bar. So it's really kind of, other than overnight, it's really kind of never closed.
No, we really aren't. For the most part, now that we have the 15 food truck choices along with the cargo container and the building that houses the 2 restaurants inside there, you should be able to get on any given day. I think we have still 5 to 6 choices now that we have so many. Even given people taking days off and being open during the morning and closed at night, really good choices.
And these folks, I think, typically are really good about letting their followers and their devoted customers know when and where they're going to be.
They are very good about posting their hours most of the time, and as long as they tag me, then I actually post it to Metro as well. We usually have a posting that goes out in Eat Springfield, 417 food trucks. So there's lots of places to find us on there. I try to update the list of everybody that's out here at least once a month. So if you scroll back a little bit, you'll see where I've listed them all and tagged them. So if you click on them, it'll take you right to their Facebook page to see menu updates and hourly updates. Some of them actually take a vacation.
Imagine that. How dare they do such a thing?
I have a couple of my vendors that have been out here for 2.5 years, just took vacation this year, both of them. So
Good for them.
Yes.
They earned it. They earned it. Do you cook still?
I do.
Do you cook
Mostly at
every day or mostly at home for
I
yourself?
don't have to cook being out here. It's fantastic. So that's great. I leave that to everyone else, but I mostly doing the honey infusions and doing farmers markets. My big focus since we have the beehives here, trying to do seasonings and honey. And
How long have you been into bees?
since I was a kid.
Really? Is that just seems like, is it a tough hobby? It's not even a hobby, really, more than a hobby to get into?
I am lucky that I have a mentor and I have a master beekeeper at 417 Bees. He is phenomenal. They actually host classes out here on Sundays. So it's kind of an exhibition apiary, trying to bring awareness for the bees and trying to keep them healthy. So part of the reason I even looked at a property this big was I knew I'd be able to have hives in the city of Springfield with a certain size property. So that, believe it or not, was the number one contingent on actually having more land, was the beehive. So doing food my whole life, it drove me crazy to have to throw anything away, so honey never spoils. So that's where I went.
Now, I know at one time you thought about having movies and things like that, big outdoor events like that. Is that still something that might be on your radar?
We still have the potential to do all that. We have all the acreage behind us. Absolutely. It's getting foot traffic out here and getting all these guys off the ground and established, and we get closer every day with everybody's support. We're so grateful for all of that.
Why don't we do drive-in movies anymore? Maybe you can be the one person to bring that back. Drive in or walk up or whatever. Wouldn't that be so fun?
I do think it's cool, and I actually think in my research on that, it's a lot of things we didn't think about. It's very hard to pull one off because you can't see it in the daytime, and if there's a full moon, you can't see it, and then any type of weather affects all of those systems as well, whatever projectors, even if you're streaming. So I did a lot of research on that. That was very, very interesting to have to watch all that. So I think we figured out a way around some of that with projection screens that we could actually have boxed in. As long as they're boxed in, then you could come out and watch a football game during the day. So it's a lot of different things we've looked at. Never really seen people do on a bigger scale, at least outside.
You've spent so much time doing research on this stuff. It just amazes me. It's like a master's degree in I don't know, amusement or hospitality, right?
I've been very lucky to travel. I'm all about experience, is where I like to spend any of my extra time or income, and so I always just kind of keep an eye out. I saw it in a hotel in Las Vegas. The curtain came down and it doubled as a projection screen, so then it could be blocked, and I'd never seen that. I'm like, well, and super affordable, because I would like to be able to offer a lot of things for a family that you're coming out here for a big event to do, and then, you know, obviously you're supporting the vendors, but still have something to do as well.
And you mentioned
Charge for it's the hope.
Right. What you mentioned to me at one time, you were hoping to have kind of the opportunity for a private chef experience too. Where are you with that?
We're still working on that.
Okay.
Kind of what one of the girls is doing that's coming inside here, she's doing junk in a jar. She's only doing a couple days a week. So it just depends on how we go for space, because I have a little space in there as well. So we're talking about all that. We want to make sure we're up to code with fire and everything. We would have to get a hood and do a lot of that. A lot of people need the fryer, then you got to do a hood. So we are still looking at all of that. The best answer might be just purchasing a food truck somebody could go in and out of. I think that's actually more affordable. So we're thinking about it.
Where is your next big trip? Where are you going next?
I'm looking at going to Portugal, Cyprus. It's supposed to be a big, the Walk of Santiago in Portugal, I hope to do in September. And then Cyprus, maybe Sicily and Milan. I love traveling.
I love travel too. I don't get to do near enough of it. And when you take these trips, are you I'm sure you're looking for both the experience and the food, but which is the one you look for first? Do you want to try the cuisine first, or are you looking to grab that experience?
I get most of my experience through the cuisine, whatever we're doing for cocktails as well. I try to stay off the tourist bus as much as possible. I have several friends that live over there that take me to places that most people would never get to go, so then you really get to experience it on a backside street or something that's been around for 200 years that nobody knows about.
Well, it's getting about time to wrap this up. I cannot tell you how much I've enjoyed. I always enjoy coming out here and talking to you and seeing what's new and tasting what's happening. Is there anything else you want to hint at before we wrap this up that you might be doing in the near future? Any little teasers here?
Yes, we potentially have a big food truck experience coming in that will be open pretty much potentially 24/7 and not going anywhere. We're working on that build out to see if we can get it all done.
If somebody wants to come out here and be part of this, they can. You said you had some space, and it sounds like you're open to about anything event-wise. How do people reach you?
We have a Facebook. The Facebook is Metro Eats. You can private message me on there, and that's my phone number on there as well. And yeah, if you want to have some kind of event, let's say you're a fledgling country music star, I'm super reasonable about you renting out the parking lot, blocking off the parking lot, working with the warehouse bar. We do have that event space in there, so we would love to see a lot more things like that happen. Get people started. Kind of a boot on the ground, I guess, if it was country, but we really, really like to see that.
Well, and that's what I love your devotion to local, because I think there are people who really may not have a place to show off what they can cook or show off the talent that they have. And Metro Eats may not be a place that's popped up on their radar yet, but perhaps it should be.
Yeah, like I said, we're working on all that on the targets through social media, maybe even looking at potentially putting a sign a little bit further down the street. We actually had a conversation about that today. I need to sit down and talk with everybody. It's kind of hard to get everybody together, but we are looking about that. And the biggest thing out here is diversity. The different music acts we've had out here, all the different culinary, it's pretty amazing.
I love that you have a jazz night and then you have blues. I mean, jazz is really coming into its own here in the Ozarks, which makes me super, super happy. Oh, and by the way, lest I forget, I understand you have about the best darn Bloody Mary in town, correct?
We do. It's absolutely incredible. So they actually make their own. They do their own mix. They're doing their own syrups. It is fantastic. If you go on their website right now, if you follow the Warehouse Bar, they're actually in the votes for that, in the Ozarks. Go local.
Well, that's awesome. I've had a couple margaritas and a couple of other cocktails in there, and I can vouch for they are very good. The food is great. Remind people where you are. Again, if you're heading west on Sunshine, you go past Kansas Expressway, keep going, look to your right, look to the north. But what's the address out here if someone wants to put it in their GPS?
2463 West Sunshine. And if you go to Scenic, you went too far. We're just in front of the bridge. So after you go Kansas and then Fort, and then that whole stretch, we're in between there.
Okay. Christina Shellhart, Metro Eats. This is a great spot. Thanks for all your hard work on this.
Thank you for coming out and talking with me. I appreciate you.
Be sure to go to AroundTheOzarks.com to sign up for our daily newsletter where you can get every episode of Savor the Ozarks, plus all our other podcasts, events, and contests straight to your inbox. And what are your favorite dishes in the 417? You have any restaurants you'd like me to visit? Email me at joy@AroundTheOzarks.com.